Hi, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm painting an Eastern Screech Owl. First, I cover my rock with a coat of gesso. This makes the acrylic paint adhere better. Then I either transfer my image or draw it freehand onto the rock with just some pencil. Now I'm just going to go over the whole outline of the owl and all of the darker areas with some black. Make sure when you paint the feathers on, you're going in the direction that the feather would naturally grow. Now while the owl dries, I just put in the background color. And then while that's drying, I go in and darken up some of the areas in the owl. This is the first of many washes. I'll keep going back and forth between doing layers of details and then layers of washes, and I just make sure everything dries thoroughly between each. Now this is a transparent burnt umber that I've watered down to start doing some washes in the colored areas of the owl. Now while that layer dries, I start to mix up the color for the eyes. I use some darker green around the top of the eye. I just want it to look like the feathers are making a shadow over the top of the eye. When that dries, I also add a little bit of brown mixed with black wash. And I'll do that a few times. And then I just go in and darken my blacks again. For the reflective area on the eye, I mix a little blue with some white. Now I'm watering down some white to go in and start some of the details. Sometimes the white, when you water it down, doesn't come across quite as dark as you'd like, so I usually just go back over those areas if the white's a little bit too translucent. But the water does help it flow a little bit better, especially when you're doing those fine feathers. For the feathers right underneath the beak, I use a small flat brush. I usually start out my tree bark with just some brown mixed with some black, and I go in and make the lines first and then go over it with a brown wash. And then I just begin darkening up areas or lightening up areas. I'm never really quite sure how the tree bark's going to go. And a lot of times I end up whiting it back out and starting over again. But usually by the time I'm done, I'm happy with the results. I have a small stippling brush that I use to apply some of the paint in the bark area. I wasn't real happy with the way it was coming out, so I thought maybe I'd try to add a little bit more, cover up some of those dark lines. I'm still not thrilled with the way it's looking, so I thought maybe I could put a shadow area around the one side of the knot hole, and that would help. I didn't catch it on camera, but I still wasn't happy, so I went in and broke the bark up a little bit more on the left side. You can see it was really quite vertical, and I broke it into some more horizontal lines, and I think that helped a lot. And now instead of going in with my stippling brush, I have a flathead brush that's kind of worn out, and I'm going in a little more gingerly than I did the first time to lighten up some of those areas. I also went back and looked at a reference photo I had of some pine bark, and that helped. Now once he's all dry, I just go in with a couple coats of acrylic varnish and I'm all set. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm still pretty new to filming, so if you have any feedback, please leave it in the comment section. I really appreciate it. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.